What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I hope you like this video. So listen, this is gonna be your Bad Boys LA season 1 episode 4. I guess we're on 4. I don't even know. It'll be the right one in the description box. But listen, so we start this episode off once again. They were at the fight with the baby, got into the fight down to the bowling alley with Danny Lay's brother, and it was a whole situation, and it shut the party down. So first of all, Milan and whoever else said that this was y'all's party, I'm gonna need y'all to stop. I'm gonna need you to just wake up, because it wasn't y'all's party. It was a party y'all were invited to, okay? That was not the Bad Boys of LA premiere party and they got to acting a fool down to the bowling alley. No ma'am, no sir. You were invited to that party, okay? So anyway, once the fight broke out, the party shuts down, right? And Milan gets in the car talking about, so man, I waited all these days for this party and it gets shut down. What days? Y'all been in the house 24 hours. What all these days have you been waiting, sir? You've been in the house 24 hours. Then they talk about something. I went through all this trouble to get my outfit together. For the exception of maybe Anthony, ain't none of y'all look like y'all outfits was hitting on much. I mean, Milan, you had on that little Versace short set situation. I ain't gonna say it's not real Versace. I'm just gonna say it was a short set. Anyway, gotta want to know where the cute people are, because there was a whole bunch of mess going on in the party. Now we know that Mello, and that his name Mello. Mello was already irritated with William because he felt like William was pushing up on him, and William was twerking on him, and he didn't like it. It made him feel some kind of way. So he proceeds to address it in the Sprinter, which I didn't have no problem with him addressing it in the Sprinter. But this is my problem, Mello. Why you always gotta be so angry when you talk? Why you couldn't have just said, William, I ain't really appreciate why we was in the party. You know, you was twerking on me. I ain't mad at you for doing your thing, but can you just, in the future, just be mindful not to do it on me? Like that. You could have said that. But what Mello said was, yo, William, I didn't appreciate that shit, man. Why you had to do that shit, man? And it proceeded to be very aggressive. William said he didn't even remember. I guess he was so drunk and he was just enjoying himself. He said it was crowded in that area. I was bumping into people. I ain't realized I was doing all that. Listen, William told us later on in the episode that he paid $20,000 for that ass. So I guess he figured, I'm going to twerk it. I'm going to spank it. I'm going to ride it. I'm going to roll it any chance I get. Okay, I'm going to get my $20,000 worth out of this ass, okay? Now, Real said he had an alley ass, meaning he got it done in an alley. Ciao. So the next day, we see Milan and Anthony sitting by the pool having a conversation, and we find out that William left. William left in the middle of the night. He felt some kind of way about the situation. He packed up his shit and he left. Well, he didn't pack up all his stuff. He packed up, I guess, enough of his stuff because maybe he was thinking about maybe he would come back. But he decided to leave. So Milan and Anthony are talking about it. Rail comes outside and they get to talking, and Rail is like, he did what? Like what? And all this reminds me of is what Rail said at the very beginning when he said the reason why he told William, either you gonna fight or I'm gonna fight you, because he said that he's been around William, and William has a way of starting shit, running his mouth, but then running off when it's time to fight. Like he starts all this stuff like he want to sit back and talk shit, but then he don't want to pay the piper for his mouth. Let me tell you something. I do not, condone, violence, nor do I encourage violence. But I also know that if you run your mouth enough around the wrong people at the wrong time, everybody don't think like that. And it's going to be time. And at some point, it's going to be time to pay the piper. Okay. So what you can't do is keep writing checks that you're behind can't cash. So Milan, so then they said also that he talked to Natalie and they're going to have some sort of Bad Boys party where they're going to, he wants to get in the studio so they can all do a song, and they're going to have this whole bad boy party situation. So that's great. I guess that's what they're working towards. That's cool. Milan is like, I really hate the fact that he's leaving. I really hate the fact that he left. Let me give him a call. So Milan calls William. And basically, William was like, I ain't feel safe. I was worried about sleeping there. I felt like maybe they was going to come and get me or jump me in my sleep. And I just didn't like that energy. And I ain't no fighter. Blah, 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 blah. But you was talking so much shit in that first episode. I guess listen. Even remember when Andrew was there and he was one of the people talking shit to Andrew Caldwell. Listen, Andrew told y'all from the beginning, I ain't no fighter. Like, Andrew was clear about it. I'll talk shit all day long, but what we're not gonna do is fight. You're not gonna put your hands on me. We're not playing that game. Now I'll talk shit. So anyway. So William, excuse me. So Milan gets off the phone. He's trying to convince William to come back to the house. William was like, I'm gonna come back and get the rest of my stuff, but I'm not moving back in the house. Like, I'm done. So then he goes and talks to Dylan, and Dylan was like, listen, William was really shook last night. He was even trying to convince me that they were gonna come in the room and jump us in our sleep, that they was gonna come get both of us because we were the only white boys in the house. And he tried to turn it into a whole, white black situation, and wanted me to leave when he left. Like, they gonna come and get you too. Like, basically, we just gonna beat up all the white people. Like, it don't matter that it was William and Dylan ain't had nothing to do with it, but because you in the room with him and because you white, you gonna get it too. And so Milan was like, well, I really want him to come back. I don't know. Like, I feel some kind of way. And at first, Dylan was like, yeah, I kind of, I want him to come back too. This is, it's an experience for everybody. It's a shame that he's going to, let this opportunity get past him. So then we get to, so Milan goes, was it Milan? Oh, no. So then we see Dylan talking to Melly and, what is his name, Carlos? And basically, they're having the conversation again. And Melly was like, I keep saying Melly. Mello was like, I didn't want him to leave. I didn't want him to leave. Like, I know him. Like, I've interviewed him on the radio. And, I think he got talent and he got a lot going for him. But he was just doing too much. And I was just trying to tell him he was doing too much. Like, I never wanted him to leave. That wasn't what my intention was. He was like, I wasn't going to beat him up. If I was going to fight him, I'd have fought him in the sprinter. Like, he was sitting right there. Like, if I was going to get him, I'd have got him. And I was like, nah, that is true. Because y'all sure ain't had no problem getting whoever y'all was trying to get. Like, y'all didn't have no issue with that. So, I was like, yeah, that's pretty accurate. So, then we have this interesting scene with Gutta and Carry On. So, it seems as though Gutta is trying to see, if there could be something between him and Carry On. And Carry On is like, no, I want us to just be friends. Like, I don't really want to go down that road. I don't want to cross that line. I think it was better off if we're friends. And Carry On was like, listen, I'd rather make that money with you than for us to get caught up in some bullshit. And, Gutta was like, okay, all right, I can accept that. I can respect that, and I can appreciate. Gutta was like, listen, I shot my shot. He ain't interested. It is what it is. So then Gutta starts talking about his home situation and how he's lost both of his fathers, his father and his stepfather, his biological father and his stepfather in the last year or so. And, how that, sort of affected him. He said his biological father never really understood him. They never got to a point where he really accepted him. He said, but his stepfather always understood him, always accepted him. And it was just a lot on him. So then Carry On, he started asking Carry On questions about his father. And we all know about the infamous tape that was released and the conflict between him and his dad. And basically what Carry On was saying was, I kept threatening him that I was going to release the tape because, I was just tired of him talking to me crazy. And I was tired of him, talking to me any kind of way. And I felt like he was just being disrespectful. And his response was, go ahead and release it. Like, I don't care. So when I released the tape, he said, I didn't really expect it to be the bomb that it was. I didn't expect everybody to react the way they reacted. And Gutta asked him, well, what did you, like, how do you feel about your dad's response? And he said, what hurt the most was that my dad apologized to his fans. He never addressed me. He never apologized to me. He said, and I just, I'm waiting for that apology. Like, I just feel like he was just disrespectful to me. Our relationship, we never found a way to communicate and just be effective in our communication. And he said, I just had to walk away. And then he had a very emotional confessional where he was, he was crying and he was just talking about being lonely and just being by himself and, dealing with things alone. And I don't know those two men's relationship. Like, I don't know what kind of a father Kirk Franklin was to carry on. He was his oldest. Kirk Franklin was a young dad. I believe he was a teenage dad, but I know he was a young dad. And so I'm sure mistakes were made. I'm sure the fact that Carry On did not grow up in the house with Kirk Franklin, especially once Kirk Franklin started becoming such a celebrity. Now, from what I understand, he had access to a lot of the same perks, I guess, for lack of a better word, but their relationship just ran off the rails at a certain point. And it just sounds like, now here Kirk Franklin's side of the story, they've been through therapy, they tried to work things out in therapy, and they just could never come to a common ground. I don't know. But it was a very emotional confessional where Carry On, he was crying, and he even got a little snappy with producers. They were, asking him questions, and they were like, "Are you okay? What's that supposed to mean? What you mean by that? What that's supposed to mean?" And I'm like, "It means, are you okay? Like, you sitting here crying, like, are you okay?" So, so then we see William come back to the house, I guess, to get the rest of his stuff, and Mello tries to talk to him, and he's telling him, "Listen, I wasn't trying to fight you. Like, come back in the house. Like, come on, man, let's do this. Like, it was never anything like that. I wasn't trying to be violent towards you. I wasn't trying to fight you." And William just wasn't trying to hear. He talked to Milan, and he was like, "Nope, I'm good. I don't want to come back in the house. I'm not about that life. I'm not trying to fight nobody." And they keep telling him, "Listen, you're gonna look scary. You're gonna look. People gonna feel like you ran. People gonna feel like that you were scared to be in the house and you were scared of the thing." And William was like, "I just don't want to be I don't want no parts of it. I don't want no parts of it." But then we find out that he's been leaking stuff to the blogs, and Mello called him out on that. And once Mello started calling him out on the fact that he was leaking stuff to the blogs, baby, he got in his car and he pulled off like, "Yeah, I'm done. I'm not doing this. I'm not having a conversation no more. I'm done with it." We see Rail try to call William. And William, once again, is telling Rail, "Nope, I'm not about that life. My body costs too much to get my body beat up. And I'm not trying to be no fighter. And I felt really scared. I felt like Mello was going to get me. He was going to jump me. He was going to beat me up." And then he felt like Mello and Carlos was in it. Carlos was like, "I didn't have nothing to do with this. Like, I wasn't going to get in it. I wasn't going to jump into nobody. I wasn't, like, no. Like, I didn't have nothing to do with it." So William is gone, child. William is out the house. He ain't coming back, okay? So then we see everybody at the table. Milan is letting everybody know that William isn't coming back. And he's letting them know that we're going in the studio and we're going to make this record and we're going to have this party, and is everybody down? Baby, hey, Milan talking about something, everybody going to get in this record whether you want to or not. Everybody getting on this record. Child, Rails was like, what we gonna do, an episode? Like, everybody on the song, how long the song gonna be, 30 minutes or the episode? Gutter talking about some and nobody trying to be on this record. What you talking about? Everybody but in the previews for next week, it looked like everybody gets on the track. Child, listen, I don't know what y'all want from me from this show. I don't know what y'all want from me. Now, this episode was better than the first 2, 3 because there wasn't no fighting, and I feel like they were trying to resolve some things. In this situation, I don't feel like Mello was being, problematic. I really don't feel like he was being problematic. I feel like he really was just trying to express himself. I just think he had to be so rough about it. But William's response was too much. Like, come on. Like, if you slept in that house after that first day, you slept in the house after it was 5, 6 fights, and you was in 2 of them, and you didn't have no problem laying your head down and going to sleep, I'm not understanding why you was still. And then he said something to Rails, "Well, there's a difference because we talking about 2 straight men. These are straight men." Child, a fight is a fight. Because Rails wasn't trying to fight you like no. Like, I mean, what you trying to say? Like, gay people fight like a girl? Please, gay people fight like men. Gay men fight like men. They are men. They are still men. So I don't know what you're talking about. Now, maybe you and Dylan was doing that slap boxing shit, but come on now. Rails, Milan, they was throwing punches. So I don't even know what that was supposed to mean when you made it seem like it's different because they were straight. child, William, you were just scared. You thought you was gonna come on the show, talk a bunch of shit, and security was gonna save you. That's what you thought was gonna happen. You thought that you was gonna be able to talk all this shit and security would get there like on Love and Hip Hop or The Real Housewives, but you ain't realized, man. Security on a 10-second delay. Like the censor button, they on a 10-second delay. They see it happen, they let it get it to a certain point, and then they jump in. Anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.